This is Diane Thompson, registered dietitian and healthy living coach of kickbutthealthcoach.com. Do you get confused by all the noise out there about what's the best kind of fat and how much fat should you eat? You're not alone. In fact, it is so confusing, and we're going to cut through the chase today and help you get really clear. So for more tips around health tips, nutrition tips, weight loss tips, subscribe to my channel. Diets out there are recommending high-fat diets. You're seeing it everywhere. Headlines, even health professionals may be recommending it. But what is the truth? What is the best thing for your health? We're going to look at some health trends. One of them is the obesity rate in this country is 40% of adults are obese, and that number keeps getting worse. And now children have an obesity rate of 20%, and that number's continuing to rise. In addition to that, we're being more and more sedentary, and the amount of calories that we are eating continues to increase, which is contributing to that problem. Fat is very high in calories. It has 9 calories per gram, whereas protein and carbohydrates only have 4. So eating a lot of fat is going to end up being a lot higher in calories. So how much fat do you need, and what kind? Well, we need fat in our diet. There's no question about it. But what kind of fat and how much is the biggest question. The American Heart Association is recommending that we get no more than 35% of our calories coming from fat, and only 7% coming from saturated fat. Then contrast that with what Dr. Dean Ornish is recommending, that you get only 10% of your calories from fat. And here's the thing about Dr. Dean Ornish. His diet is probably the only diet out there that has been shown in research articles to reverse plaque formation in your arteries and reduce your risk for heart attacks. And if you don't remember, number one on our list of what we're dying from is heart disease. So Dean Ornish's diet may make a lot of sense, especially if you know that you have a really high risk for heart attack. And in addition to that, many people don't even know that they are at risk. So keep that in mind. So here are the kinds of fats that we need to have in our diet. Okay, there's only two kinds of fats that we really need in our diet: omega-3s and omega-6s. So how much do you need of the omega-3s? Well, you only need, if you're a woman, 1.1 grams for a woman and 1.6 grams for a man. A tablespoon of ground flaxseed has 1.8 grams of omega-3s and 0.4 grams of omega-6s. Now, if you don't know this, omega-6s are prevalent in our diet today. In fact, we're getting too much, and because the balance of omega-6s to omega-3s is all out of whack, we get way too many. We have a lot more inflammation, which is a contributor to heart disease. So omega-6s are not low in our diet. However, omega-3s are. You can get enough fat, get this, from colored vegetables, fruit, legumes, and whole grains. So you can get enough of your fat just eating those foods. So not even adding fat to your diet will give you enough fat. Is that interesting? You're not hearing that very much. Now, fatty fish like salmon and sardines, I'm sure you've heard, are great contributors to omega-3s. However, salmon and other fatty fish has been found to have a lot of mercury in it. And salmon is getting omega-3s from their diet, which is algae. So if you bypass the salmon and eat the algae, you can get a much cleaner source of omega-3s. Now let's look at the monounsaturated fats found in olive oil, because one of the things that people think is that if I eat olive oil, I can get some omega-3s. Is that the truth? Well, here's the truth. Olive oil, in order to be able to get the amount of omega-3s you would have to eat almost 2,000 calories a day of olive oil to get enough omega-3s. That's a lot of olive oil. For a woman my size, about 115 pounds, I don't even need 2,000 calories a day. So there's no way I could eat that much olive oil without gaining weight, because I would need to eat other foods as well. How about coconut oil, right? There's a big craze around coconut oil. Well, coconut oil has been found to raise LDL cholesterol, and it has no proven cardiovascular benefits, right? We're a culture that has a lot of heart disease in it. So why, oh, why would you want to eat something that potentially could increase your risk of heart disease? Here's another thing. All oils are processed. They're not whole foods. They're foods that are dense in calories and fats. They all have had the fiber and other nutrients stripped away. So they're not the most nutritious things. They're really just a source of fat and calories. So how much fat do you need? Basically, what's found in 1 tablespoon of flaxseed, and that's going to give you the kinds of fats that you need to be healthy. And when we're dealing with a culture that is very overweight and needs to look at reducing calories because we sit all day, shouldn't we reduce the amount of fat that we are eating? You decide. Subscribe to this channel for more tips around healthy eating, nutrition, and weight loss.